Welcome back to another episode of Sal and Pals Go to the Movies. I am actually by myself today, and today I will be talking about Jon Favreau's The Lion King. But just a fair warning, there's going to be spoilers up ahead, so you've been warned. After the murder of his father by his uncle Scar, the young lion Prince Simba flees his kingdom and sets on a journey that teaches him about the true meaning of responsibility and bravery. As we all know, this is the CGI version of the original animated Disney version from 1994, and it was a shot-by-shot remake to a certain degree. First of all, let's go down the cast. We have James Earl Jones coming back to reprise his role as Mufasa. We have Alfred Woodward as Sarabi, J.D. McCrary as young Simba, Donald Glover as adult Simba, Shahadi Wright Joseph as young Nala, Beyonce as adult Nala, John Caney as Rafiki. We have John Oliver as Sasu, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar. We have Keegan Michael Key as Kamari. We have Eric Andrew as Azizi, Florence Kasumba as Shensi. We have Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, Billy Eichner as Timon. We have Phil LaMarr as the Impala. Movie was directed by Jon Favreau. Music by Hans Zimmer, who also did the 1994 version. Songs by Elton John and Tim Rice, who also did the 1994 version. And singing the opening and other songs, Elbow M, also another person who came from the 1994 version. Wow, that was a long list. So let's get into the review. I went into the movie worried because 1, I grew up with the original animated version, and 2, because I heard it was going to be a shot-by-shot remake. This made me feel a bit defensive in a way, because it's my childhood that we're messing with. And then making a shot-by-shot remake, well, I mean, really, who really wants to see the exact same thing over again, but with different voices? It just doesn't really sound too exciting. But then again, what if it was totally different? I mean, wouldn't that be weird? Since we all know the original source from 1994, I guess I left it up to John. So I went to see it. I have to say, it was not that bad as I thought it would be, but it was not as great, and I'm actually okay with that. So hear me out. The original story and the idea are still there, which is a good thing, that it was not changed too much. It's like taking a hike along a set path, where you walk on the edge just to walk a different path, but you're still on the same path, so you're getting to the same place. But at the same time, you're making it your own. So in that sense, there was not much differences to the story, which was a bit sad. Yes, they did change some dialogue, added alternative scenes here and there. For example, Timon and Pumbaa, when they sing The Lion Sleeps Tonight, not by themselves, but they are joined by other animals as a group, and they sing a longer version of the song than in the original cartoon. Also, they added a joke of singing a small part of Be Our Guest from The Beauty and the Beast during the scene where Timon is offering Pumbaa as bait to the hyenas. Then we have the change of the Scar song, Be Prepared. It was a shorter version, less captivating. Maybe Disney wanted to stray away from the marching scene, paralleling a real-life power-grabbing dictator. Another thing that really bugged me was they tried to break the fourth wall with the comedy. It felt like I was watching an improv skit at some times during the movie, but overall the comedy was there. It did make me laugh, and it especially made the kids in the audience laugh, which is always a good thing. But the one thing that really made me scratch my head and kind of question it was when adult Nala, voiced by Beyonce, said "Lions attack" during the beginning of the final fight to rally the lioness. I was thinking, wait, isn't Simba and Scar the only lions and the rest are lioness? Before you start saying, Sal, you're being really picky now. I point to the original 1994 movie during the scene where the hyenas are talking to Scar about that there is no food and water. Scar says to them, it's the lioness' job to do the hunting. I mean, it would have fit better in the movie, in my opinion, to rally the female power, because it's the truth, the lions depend on the lioness. But again, the same thing as tomato. So I leave that up to you to see if you kind of bugs you or not. I mean, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, I think they would have added that little female power in there, would have been a little better. Let's move on. The actual scenes and scenery were amazing. It was breathtaking. As well as the CG, it blended well, so there's no complaints there for me. The music, it's the same crew from the original 1994 version. We have Hans Zimmer, Tim Rice, Elton John, Lebo M. Must I say any more? I mean, they're amazing and they're back. We have a new addition. We have Pharrell Williams along with Beyonce with vocals joining the party. The musical numbers alongside with the choreography in most parts were done fairly well, but in some numbers either they lacked in the singing department with singing skills or some of the familiar scenes that we really missed from the original. For example, there's some scenes that you really wanted to see during some musical numbers and they're not there. For example, I'm going to reference again the Scar song. But overall, I think the musical numbers actually made you remember the original, and that's basically what we were there for, just remembering good old times. So I guess it's time to give it my final grade. I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. It's not the greatest movie remake. It's not the worst. For that, we have to point just to the last one that Disney made, the Aladdin live action movie. This one was basically better than that. But still, I wanted a little bit more. I guess if you grew up with the original, it's definitely a must-see, so you can decide whether you liked it or hated it. But at least we can agree that the original will always be a 9 out of 10. Also, if you grew up with the original and you have kids now, make them watch the original and then go together and watch the new one. It's a really nice, refreshing take on the cartoon transitioning to CGI. I assure you that kids will love this movie. If you take them, you'll laugh together at some scenes and then you'll have a great time. But just remember, keep your eyes open, see what's different, because that's the whole thing about movies. You want to see the same thing, but you want to be presented with a fresh, new point of view of the movie. Kids will love it and you'll have a blast laughing at some scenes together as a family. And if you're just by yourself, don't worry. Everybody's going who are adults, so you won't be in a room full of kids. There's going to be plenty of adults there to revisit their old childhood. So that does it for this review of The Lion King. Please join me and Touly next time when we review Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Sarah Bellows' book, where the stories write themselves and it all comes alive.
Click like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, keep watching movies.